Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Segun, and if this is your very first time watching, please do us a favor, click the subscribe button and make sure you leave your notification bell turned on so you get notified each time we post a new video. As we all know, that in starting a YouTube, you require two basic things, which is your identity and your content, and secondly, then you move to your tools, the gears you use. In this video, I'll be talking about the gears that we use on this YouTube channel. First and foremost, I would like to say that this video is not to brag or is not to show off the tools that we have, but just to enlighten you out there on some of the things you need to know when getting your tools, the most important thing. Secondly, I am doing this video because we've gotten lots of review, amazing ones, some criticism also, but some nice views and comments about some people loving our videos, loving the quality, and asking us how and what are the things that we use. So I thought it wise that it's important that I share some of the things we use, how we get the results that we get. And let me also say this, that these are the tools that we use as of February 2021. And as time goes on this YouTube channel, we intend to upgrade and probably tweak and change some certain things as things unfold. So please, let's know that this is just what we have at the moment and what we make use of. When you have settled your identity, your content, your niche, your audience, and what you want to do on your channel, the second most important thing you need to consider is the tools that you would use to pass your message to the audience that you are targeting. It is very, very important. Okay, so I would like to say this, that the first thing is start from where you are. One of the main reasons why I have not started or why it took so long for me to really for us to start up this channel was because what I wanted and us getting online were not available to me. But I looked at it and said, if I have to wait to get everything I need for us to start a YouTube channel, we would never start a YouTube channel. All right, so the first thing I like to say is start with whatsoever you have. It may be your smartphone, it may be anything whatsoever that you know will get your video and your audio and will pass your message. And may I say this, content is very, very important. Okay, even if your audio and your video qualities are not good enough, as long as you have an amazing content, people are still going to watch. Okay, but as you grow on the channel, it's very, very important that you step up. Okay, because like I said, even though it's not important, it is also very important. All right, and I used to hear this a lot on YouTube, gears are not important. Well, having been into video production, photography for the past 3 years, I have come to the understanding that gears are as important as the person using it. Okay, there are so many things you would not be able to achieve if you are using just anything. Okay, that is why in Nollywood, all this media houses, they go for the very best of the best, not just because they don't have good brains behind those cameras, but because of the quality and the standard for which they want to uphold and sustain. All right, so let me set that first. Now, coming back to the main tools that we use, okay, so I'm going to break them down into some category. The first one is when you are starting your YouTube, you need to look at the video angle, you have to look at the audio angle, you have to look at the lighting angle. Then also, let me chip in this, which is the internet. If you're in a place, you have to also consider that, okay, the cost of internet. Some people are paying heavily for internet, so you have to look at all those things. And also, if you are planning to go live, okay, maybe you want to be doing live on your YouTube, you also need to consider that. Then finally, you need to look at the editing aspect of it. All these things will influence your choice, okay? Now, and it will also determine how you spread out your money whenever you want to invest into buying gears, okay? It is very, very important, and coupled with knowledge, and which is one of those things which I'm sharing with you today. Don't just go out there and say, oh, I want to buy the best of the camera. You have like $5,000 and you want to spend $4,000 on just buying camera. I think it is so wrong for you to have $5,000 and you say to yourself, oh, because I want the best of the best, and you go ahead and buy the best camera you can get for $4,000, and you want to invest the remaining $1,000 on other things. It doesn't work that way. You are not going to get the best quality out of that camera. Okay, so there are a lot of things that goes into video. Okay, so when you talk about the video, you need to look at the camera you're using, and also, more importantly, the lens. Okay, the lens is very, very important. Okay, in photography, in videography, lens is very important. That is why you can buy a lens and you see it for the next 5, 6, 7 years. At the end of the day, you can buy a camera now, in a year time, in 2 years time, another better one comes out, you sell that camera to buy the latest one, and you still keep on using your lens. Okay, so don't invest heavily in your camera and leave out other parts. Okay, get the other parts, and as time goes on, you can now begin to upgrade your cameras. Okay, so please note that. Okay, so if you have like $5,000, the maximum I will advise you to spend on camera alone should be $2,000. Okay, should be $2,000. Invest the remaining $3,000 in other things. On this YouTube channel, the camera that I use is Sony a7 III. All right, I know it's very expensive. When I bought mine, I think I bought it $1,800 here in Istanbul, Turkey. That's like 2 years ago, and it's just body only. So in your home budget, there are cheaper cameras that you can get, simply because you are not using it for what I'm using it for. I am into videography and photography. So if you are going to go into YouTube, I'm not expecting you at this stage of starting, because for you it's an hobby. It's not something that is generating income at the moment. So there are cheaper cameras you can go out there and get. I went into Sony system because I looked at my environment. Okay, here in Istanbul, Turkey, gears are very expensive. If you check on Amazon, if you check on eBay and all this Alibaba or AliExpress or whatsoever, or all this e-commerce websites, the price for which they are being sold online is different from what you get here, because you have to pay tax, KDV. Okay, and sometimes it depends. Can be $300, mainly, let's say between 10, 15, 20% of what you are buying. Okay, so you have to pay more. You have to pay more. But I always hunt for deals that comes with probably slightly the same price. Okay, so I was a bit very lucky when I bought my camera, and that was I was able to get it for $1,800. Now, if you want to get the same camera right now, you should be ready to invest in the excess of $2,000 thereabout. Okay, now that is that. Also, the lenses that I use mainly for YouTube, I'm not talking about photography, okay, are just two. I use Zeiss 55mm 1.8, which is a prime lens. I use that mainly when I'm shooting just one person, or as I'm speaking with you right now, that is the lens I'm using with my Sony a7 III. Why? Because if you look at this side, you will see the light, you will see some objects on the table. Those are my lens, those are the lenses I use, and my Apple, which I'm still going to talk about. Now, you will see that they are out of focus. They are out of focus because I'm using f1.8, okay? I'm using f1.8. That's the aperture, okay? So it blurs the background. That is why I'm using it, all right? And secondly, I also use Tamron 28 to 75 mm 2.8, that's the aperture. That's a zoom lens. When we have two of us, when it's myself and my wife, okay, because it's 28 to 75, it gives a wider view. But when it's one person, I prefer to use the 1.8. If I'm using 28 to 75 I can also use that, but I prefer to blur the background the more and to put me or to put the person, that one person at what? At the center of attraction. So, or in focus, sorry, to put that person in focus. So that is why I use those two lenses. I have another lens, or I have two lenses other than those ones, but I don't use them on this YouTube channel, so I'm not going to talk about them. All right, so when you've settled your camera and you settle your lens, and this is what I'm going to say: if you are going to invest in your lens, please, if you cannot invest in prime lenses, please try as much as possible to invest in lenses that are not variable aperture. Okay, maybe I'm sorry, I'm using some big terms that are not variable aperture. And secondly, try as much as possible to avoid f4 lenses. I know f2.8 lenses are more expensive, but look out for third-party lens, and I think it will really worth the money. Okay, look out for third-party lens. It's very good for you, and that is one of the main reasons why I went into Sony system. Before going into Sony system, I had always been shooting, or I had shot with Nikon, and I've had a couple of opportunities to use Canon. Okay, but I discovered that in Turkey, where I am, getting the lenses for these systems are very, very expensive. I initially, or from the onset, I decided I wasn't going to go into the DSLR, I was going to go into the mirrorless. Okay, so I'm looking at the mirrorless system. Sony has made a lot of inroads here in Turkey or across the globe generally. So they have lots of lenses, and most importantly, they've opened up their lens to third parties. I mean Tamron, Sigma, and some other bodies who make cheaper lens, but also at higher quality. So that's why I'm using Tamron. Okay, that's why I'm even into Sony in the first place. All right, so lens is very important. Now, second, so once you settle your camera and your lens, if you are using Canon and you are using a DSLR, I would strongly suggest you to look towards the 50mm 1.8. I think that's around $100. Is not close to $200. It's a fantastic lens to start with. That is if you are using Canon DSLR. If you're also using Nikon, you can also look for that 50. 50 gives you that unique look. Okay, that is what your eye can see. Okay, it's not showing you any distortion whatsoever. Okay, so I love that so much, and that I think is where you should try to invest in. All right, so when you settle your lens and you settle your camera, the other thing you need to settle is your audio. Audio is very, very important. Like I said, it's not just the camera, it's not just the lens, but your audio is very, very important. You can escape. You can be forgiven if your video is not good. Okay, people will still watch your content as long as they can hear. Just imagine I'm talking right now and you cannot hear what I'm saying. You are going to leave and switch to another thing entirely. But as long as you can hear me very well and I'm audible, then there's that tendency that you are likely to stay and listen to the very end. So people can forgive you even if the quality of your video is not good, but the quality of the audio, people will not forgive you. So please invest in good quality audio. Okay, when I started off, I bought the shotgun mic, the one I placed on my camera. That was the Takstar. That was what I was using. But right now, as you can see, I'm using Rode Lavalier wireless mic, and I'm also using the Rode Wireless Go. Okay, so it's attached to it. So that is what I'm using for now, okay, which I think is fantastic and awesome. It records directly into your camera. And secondly, I also use, for redundancy, I use Zoom H1N. Okay, I use that as redundancy just in case, let's say my audio messes up or something, then I can just use that to to augment wherever there is any shortfall. So it's very, very important. And anytime I go out on interview, or I'm speaking with people outside, or I need to capture some background sound or effect or noise, or I need to create some noise myself or effects, then I use my Zoom H1N, which is very, very handy. It's plastic and I think it's durable. And so it's something you should also consider as a backup. Okay, so that is why I know that there are some mics that you can attach to your camera if you're using a camera, or if you're using your phone, sorry. There are also some mics that you can attach also to your action camera. That is if you are using GoPros or any of these action cameras out there. You need a form of stability on where you are going to put, whether it's your phone, whether it's your camera. So you need to invest also in a tripod. Okay, just look for any decent tripod out there. There are plastic, there are cheaper ones, okay? And look for something where you can put it. It's not good if you have a shaky footage. Lighting is key. You cannot talk about photography and not talk about light. Okay, a lot of people have that misconception that once you have your camera, you are good to go. You know, that is why when we go out there to shoot, people will say, why are you charging us this much? Is it not just to come with camera? No, it's different, okay? It's more than that. Okay, so your light is very, very important. When you're talking about video, photography, it's all about light. What light is hitting the lens, is coming into the sensor, and so on and so forth. Okay, so lighting is also key. That will determine how dramatic your footage, your video is going to be. All right, right now in front of me, I'm using Godox SL 60 watt. Okay, it's a video light, it's constant lighting. So that is my main light. That's the light we use. I also have a grid. Okay, the grid, what the grid does is that it helps me to make sure that the light is concentrated on just one person. When it's myself and my wife, I remove the grid. Okay, I remove the grid so that at least we can have more lights. Okay, but when it's one person, I don't want the light everywhere, okay, flying here and there. So I put the grid on it. And behind me, by my left, I have a battery powered light. Okay, as you can see here, this light is one of the rear lights I use. It separates me from the background. Okay, it separates me. If you check this place, my head, you are going to see some measure of light. Okay, so that is what it does. There's a separation. Also by my right, there's another light which I use, is also battery powered. Okay, that's oftentimes I put a gel there. Okay, I put like a red gel. Okay, that gives more depth to it. And also of recent, if you always check my video, you always see a laptop playing something. Okay, the light coming from there is also to give some measure of depth and width, okay, to the video. And of recent, as you can see, there's a lamp there also. Okay, these are things that I use to spice up the video, okay, to make it look more attractive and more pleasing to watch. In the future, I intend to invest in RGB lights, maybe look at some of these portable aperture pocket lights, okay, and spice up my YouTube channel the more. All right, finally, let me talk about internet. Internet is very important because if you want to go live in terms of uploading, sometimes it takes us hours for us to get our videos online because sometimes the internet are slow. Okay, so you also need to consider internet. And finally, editing. Okay, I use MacBook MacBook Pro 2015 edition to edit all of our videos, and the softwares I use are Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects. But oftentimes 95% of my work are done on the Adobe Premiere Pro, okay, and just 5% are done on After Effects. So those are the main tools that I use in editing. In probably one of my subsequent videos, I'm going to show you some of my editing workflow on how I do some of these things. But finally, let me end on this note. Okay, I shoot on 4K, and 4K gives me the opportunity to crop in. Okay, that is why sometimes, okay, I crop in too short. It gives me depth. It makes my video more sharp and it brings out more quality. It gives you more detail. Okay, and if you are going to shoot in 4K, it will also determine the kind of editing laptop you are going to buy. So camera is very important. If you buy a high camera and you are using a wacky laptop, you are going to run into trouble trying to edit them. Okay, if you are shooting in 4K and you are using a laptop that is 8 GB RAM, you'll be in trouble. Okay, so just note that when you're investing into, if you are going to upgrade your camera or something, make sure that you also take a look at your laptop. Oftentimes I spend a lot of hours trying to edit this video. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's a very long video, but I hope you have learned one or two things from from the things that we use in making our videos. If you have any questions for me, please put them in the comment box and I'll try as much as possible to address them. Thank you guys for watching. If this is your very first time, please do me a favor, click the subscribe button and make sure you leave your notification bell turned on so you get notified each time I post a new video. My name is Segun, and thank you guys for watching and see you in our next video.